In order to learn how to tie knots, having a piece of rope about that flexible is a good idea. You need to be patient. You need to take your time. The object of this whole procedure is to develop muscle memory, so that means you have to do a lot of repetitions. Before you start to do this, get your rope. I recommend a good, simple diagram of the knots, of which there are numerous on the internet. When you're watching this video, don't be afraid to stop it, back it up, and you should be trying to tie the knots along with the video. Don't think that you've got it figured out and, oh, therefore I need how to tie it. You should be able to tie all these knots while you're looking at the ceiling. Now, that's not what you're going to do in surgery or in a whatever situation, but you want to be able to tie them without having to think about it or look. So we're going to go over a couple of basic knots here that anybody should know, anybody that works with livestock. And the first one that we're going to do is what's called a square knot. And square knots are used to join two ends of a rope. A couple of definitions. That's a rope. This rope is doubled. That makes it a bight. This hole is a loop. And for the purposes of this talk, we're going to call the long end of the rope. Okay, we have a short end and a long end, and we're going to put our knot here. The long end of that rope, I'm going to call the running end. So that's important because that's going to be necessary. The other thing is a knot, it can also be referred to as a hitch. So what I have done here is I tied half of a knot, hence a half hitch. If I go ahead and continue that knot so that we form this square, we have a square knot. So let's repeat that. We're going to go that way, so this end comes out right where the other one went in. We're going to pull that together, and it makes a square knot, which isn't going to slip. That's a knot that we might use to join two ends of suture material together to form a suture during surgery. If you tie this knot incorrectly, you might end up with this. You notice that this is not square, and that the ends of the suture material stick up perpendicular to the rope. This is called a granny. And here's the problem with a granny. It has very poor holding power. So let's repeat that. Go that way, so this end comes out right where the other one went in. We're going to pull that together, and it makes a square knot, which isn't going to slip. I can always tell when I'm watching student surgeries if somebody ties a granny, because the suture material will be laying there, and there'll be an end sticking right up in the air like that. And that means that they've tied a granny, and that's going to be a bad ligature.